Hi everyone. This is my sixth video, which is the continuation of chapter 3. The first part of chapter 3 introduced you to encounters that I had seen as a child, as well as encounters that were not associated with visual, but audio and sensitivity. I had also tried to explain what I was seeing and how I was trying to categorize the different visions. The next part of this chapter includes more visions of what I was seeing and includes my encounter seeing the angel, as well as my sister, which I turned her away, where I turned her away. The music I have chosen for this part of the chapter is "You Are Only Lonely," sung by J.D. Souther. I have seen a group of 3 people. This was another encounter where you look, and it is so puzzling to view. There is a vision that I'm looking at, and it is not about me. It is not a form like the person that was looking for something in my jewelry box, not someone staring at me from the side of my bed. This was a picture with a group of people having a conversation or conversing amongst themselves. It was very puzzling. I could not hear a word being said, and my total focus was towards the male that was speaking. I only know that there were others with him. One has his back to me. Then, to add to the situation I was watching, I said out loud, "I can see you." After that, the one talking stopped his conversation and hesitated as if to acknowledge that someone just spoke to him, then turned towards me in a very casual, slow movement. He did not speak, only looked upwards towards me. I wondered what he saw. Did I appear to him as a woman lying in a four-poster bed? Or was it just a voice he picked up on and turned in the same direction it came from? From my position, it was not that of lying in a bed, but as if I was watching them from a distance and above them. Not sure, but I have certainly left this one open for questioning. It was very different than the others. It was as if I was there, not them coming to me. The most frightening appearance that I had was the first time I saw something that I did not relate to as human. It was like a shadow of a dog. It was running very fast, appearing at the top of the wall close to the ceiling, but at the same time it was in a slow motion. It was racing from about the middle of my room to dissolve before it came to the end of the wall, but never letting down the speed it was going. I was following it with my eyes going from the direction of my door towards the wall my headboard is on. It was not lifelike, so I could not make it out, but it appeared about the size of a medium-sized dog. I could not go back to sleep after this. It was very frightening. There have been other spirits that are fast. I awoke to see one coming towards me on the right side of my bed, moving very fast. It appeared for long enough to see its movement. I have also noticed some of these fast-moving ones around my head. It's like a rush past me just to get my attention. I would say I'm always saying the words "no" to these encounters. I can actually feel the rush of their spirit passing by me. I have also encountered animals, dogs and cats, and something that was like a monkey, but I didn't think it was a monkey. It was small like one and was rushing towards me in the bed facing me. It was small and I could make out the eye sockets, which were looking at me, but the rest was cloudy. The first animal I saw was that of a dog. It appeared as I was lying on my back, but slightly on my right side. It just appeared as a medium-sized dog, but I was looking at his face. We had a total of 2 dogs in our family home, and each were about the same size and fairly close to the same type of dog. Mixed breed with border collie and sheepdog. The first one was called Jip, and the second one was called Cookie. It was a long time ago when they were the family dog, like over 30 years ago. In fact, the first dog, Jip, I recall going to meet him for the first time. My sister Sandy was with us. She was sick at the time, and Dad had her in a blanket, and she was lying in the back seat. We were going out to this place on Concession 8 to see this dog, which was going to be given away. We took the dog, but not that day. I have also seen what appears as red eyes, and for a few months I've been noticing specks of white light. There have also been a woman floating above the bed that was dressed in all black and had a veil over her face. Only from her shoulders and up appeared. I saw this spirit twice in the same night. I've also seen what appeared to be a mummy wrapped in bandages. This was a distant image, so it was very small to view. It was lying in a box. What the heck? So many different things. Another one that was very strange, it was a man standing vertically almost over me. He was wearing a heavy cotton cloth garment that came just below his knees. He had sandals on. The costume or outfit suggested a Middle East country. I did not see his face, only a small part of the bottom of this outfit. I'm actually on my back looking up, and he is appearing practically over me, as if he is walking over me. Another one that stands out was an image of a white, thick, square post that had a round pot holder made of wire on the pot. There was no pot in it, just the round wire holder. You could also see a bright day in the background. This was the first of its kind. There was no human or animal. It was a place of someone's home. I actually wondered if there was something there that I might not see because I didn't know why this would appear. There are images of what I have witnessed. These are images of what I have witnessed. Some are very scary, others particular, and still others so real. I have wondered if the shoe was on the other foot and I was the image, what I might be looking at. In other words, how am I being presented to these spirits? It's later on that I realized I was getting a reaction to some of my movements and talking. The most fearful is the man that appears right beside my bed, just above my head. I had to turn my head and look up. He is looking down at me. He is very tall and appears as a real man. If I reached out to touch him, I'm sure it would be like touching a real person. It is easy to see height because of my bedpost, and he reached the top of the post. I recall thinking, wow, you are tall. He is just like looking at a human being. The first time he appeared, I did not say a thing, only gazed at him. He had shoulder-length hair that is parted in the middle. He is a white male with a long, thin nose. He is dressed in a black long jacket that appears sloppy and bulky. He appeared again a few years later, and I did say out loud, "You are tall." Imagine waking to see this right at your head, a tall, dark figure, and you can see his face. He is actually standing in my room. I suspect I will see him again down the road if he has appeared more than once already. Not really looking forward to this, as he is a real figure and so close both times. This could also have been one of the dark figures I had seen at the bottom of my bed as a child. The most intriguing one was when I saw my cat. My orange cat that I called Kitty died in July of 2010. What was so different was that he appeared so close to my face. It was February 3rd, 2011. I took special note at the opening around him. He walked away from me in life size. I would put him within 12 inches. I actually was viewing his butt. It was his butt that was right there as he was walking away. His tail was up. Good reason not to focus on the main view. I moved my focus to the opening that surrounded him. It was so close to me I was able to make out this detail. Kitty was in full color, like in a lit room. I could make out his color. I identified it as being my cat, not only because of the color, but also my cat had the distinct walk from behind which was described earlier. The opening around him sizzled or fluttered in a bright white and light gray light, which moved and was synchronized with his movement. When his behind moved to the left, the outside opening danced with movement following his outline. The whole situation was like me looking inside a hole or tube. He was not a shadow, he was present as if he was living. It was like a hole opening and I could see inside, him moving away, but so close to me that I could and did focus on the outside of the hole. So incredible. I was able to witness so close and visually see the outside of this entrance or hole. You could see the opening was full of energy. All are incredible, but when you witness something you that could be a clue somewhere down the road, it leaves a memory in my mind that sticks like glue. So far, I've seen many different views of so many different things. Another one was a nurse in a white uniform with a nurse's hat on. So when this happens, I can give an estimated time period that she lived from just by the uniform. Some are in color, some are not. It actually took some time to figure out or observe what and how it was being shown. At first impression, my reaction is, what is it? I saw this one man and he was wearing an orange t-shirt. This is when I asked myself, am I seeing color? From then on, it became an awareness that I would observe first. So as more came into the scene, I'm able to try and categorize based on color, real, shadow. I've tried to categorize the different appearances. I'm also finding that as time goes on, I'm seeing more and it's possible what I'm categorizing today might be changed later on. At least I can start with a baseline. These are the four categories, sorry, too early in the morning. A shadow which can be detailed somewhat or have next to no detail. They appear to be physically in the room. A virtual, real colored life-size person that is in the room. A life-size person looking inside or through a hole or a tube, which is usually an up-close face. They are not in the room. I see through colored presence like that of looking into a glass or window at night, but the window or glass is not there. They appear to be in the room. This last one is the one that appears the most. It can be part of a person or the whole person. It can be objects. I have seen a bouquet of flowers on different occasions. Some of those in the room move or float, as do some of the other forms. It just goes on and on. I'm always on the lookout for the appearance of something different. The shadow can be lifelike in size as if they are human, but only a form of that person with no detail or color. They are a presence in my room. A shadow which is not solid but very light and fog-like. I have seen a vision of this which when I saw it, it was rushing towards me on the bed very close, like a small dog. It was close enough to see the eyes, but it was not eyes. Uh, but it was not eyes. It was like a darker, sunken socket that was fixed on me. Another astonishing figure was so incredible that I'm not sure how it will be taken. Have I seen an angel? If what you describe as a life form with wings, and then the answer is yes, I have seen an angel. There there has been one occurrence, and that was somewhere in the beginning at the ski hill. But later on, I did witness another one with wings, but she was presented the way most come forward, and that is of the type looking through the glass. This is how I describe what appeared when at the ski hill. I was lying on my left side when I felt a presence. It was almost like an automatic reflex now to open my eyes when I had the sense of a presence. I'm lying on the left side. At the top of my headboard, towards the right, against the wall, close to the corner and to the ceiling, there was a figure all in white which had feathery wings. I was very drawn towards the wings. It was shaped like a fairy type figure, which was a female with legs and arms. She carried wings on her back, which appeared larger than her body. I was shocked and I was panicking as I told myself, focus on something and get some detail because I knew in the future the detail would be lost and viewing her would be brief. So I looked at her right wing, which appeared on the left side looking at her. The wing was thick looking, but very soft with small feathers, constructed like those of a baby bird's wing. I could see layers of feathers all in white. It was a full-figured appearance which had the depth perception of fairly close. When I look back, it would have been like looking into a large hole. It was a peaceful occurrence, but most are when they are at a distance from my body. There was no panic, just a curious encounter. Pretty amazing because we have all heard about angels, but I actually saw one, not once, but twice. If you were to ask me if I believe in angels, my response would be definitely, for sure. They do exist. What is their purpose? The few times I have seen my sister at the ski hill home, she has always been a shadow. It was after Decoration Sunday at the old kirk when I had a visit from my sister. I had visited her gravesite. I didn't realize it was her at the time because it was a shadow. The figure was that of a child, and I recognized her as a girl with blunt haircut to the shoulders. When she appeared, she was leaning sideways to see my face. I was lying on my side with one arm under my head. It was her position of being turned to my face that I noticed her haircut and length of it. After this encounter, I wondered about one other time when I woke to a shadow leaning into the other side of the bed with her face looking right at me. I could make out the darker sunken sockets for her eyes. It was her stare that I woke up to. What really saddened me today is the last time I saw my sister, I turned in reflex and said no. I wished I could go back to the same situation and change my words and the whole situation. It has left a huge impression on me, and I so want for her to come and visit again. I did not realize it was her until the next morning, and when I did realize it, I was so sorry for what I had said. It was in February of 2011 that I had this most memorable experience with my sister, but again, I didn't recognize at that moment that it was her. I was lying on my right side facing the window. My left arm was tucked under my head. I always leave the two pillows on the left side of my bed in the same place as it is all the time. When I felt someone close to me, I opened my eyes to see a young girl. She was sitting cross-legged, sitting up on the bed on top of the pillows. She was a shadow, but I could make out her blunt haircut positioned forward. She was looking down as if being occupied by her hands. At that point, when I was lifting myself up to turn around and said, "No," her head turned to look at me. She moved. I could actually see her turn her head towards me. I turned to look away. "Don't bother me," was my gesture. If only I could relive this one time. The next day, when I did realize that it was Sandy that I had seen again, I promised to myself to not let it happen again. It was a turning point and an end to saying no. From that day forward, I told myself that I would accept what was happening. There was no harm being brought to me, so there was nothing to fear. It would take some time for my outlook. It would take some time, but my outlook would change from fear to fascination after this encounter. Today, I keep thinking back to that vision. I see a little girl that hangs around her sister. She has no idea that I actually have seen her. She has no idea that I have heard her giggle and that I know it has been her that lifts my arm in the morning to wake me. I find her so playful and always trying to wake me up. Now I wait for the day she will appear and I can say something. As I plan to leave this home and move into the next, I realize that my sister and my cat are the only ones I've been able to identify. It is actually comforting to acknowledge these two familiar spirits. Knowing this is now the basis of believing it is afterlife phenomena that I'm witnessing, or at a minimum, this knowledge has led me to this conclusion. Also knowing this and trying to see if I can make connections as to what I'm seeing and possibly where they come from. And that ends chapter 3. Next week, when I get into chapter 4, it's going to be a little bit difficult because that chapter is more or less dedicated to my sister. The memories of my sister and her death. So have a wonderful day, everyone, and thanks for joining me. Bye.